Hey there folks, this is Vince Verdict reviewing XCOM, a turn-based shooter many of us have been looking forward to for some time now. In previous videos I spent a fair amount of time talking about performance. Not gonna do that this time. This game should be fun even if it runs like crap anyway. Let me say though that the game somehow cripples my GTX 980 with AA on full, so just tone that down a little and you should be fine. 20 years after the last game scenario, the aliens now rule the Earth, masking their sinister agenda with shining cities and lies.
Of Unification Day.
Only those who live at the edges of the world have a margin of freedom. From these remnants of freedom, XCOM is reborn as a guerrilla force. XCOM must expose the truth behind the occupation and eliminate the alien threat once and for all. Of course, the best way to hurt them directly is through combat. The combat is still very much the same as the last game. It's turn-based, you can do 2 moves, unless your first move is an attack somehow, and you have to make sure that you're always in cover. A new addition to the combat is concealment. At the start of most missions, your squad is in stealth, meaning they won't be spotted unless they make noise or get too close to the enemy. This makes for some awesome ambushes that can give you the upper hand from the very beginning of combat. My advice is to heavily rely on Overwatch once you engage the enemy from stealth. Another new addition to the gameplay is picking up unconscious soldiers. Unconscious soldiers are basically dead soldiers, with the exception that they will be revived if you manage to successfully extract them. Soldiers get promoted by doing missions with them. There are multiple classes, like the Grenadier, which is great for blowing holes into walls, the long distance Reaper the Sniper, and the Hacking Specialist, which is great for hacking robots and other devices.
Operating some of our most advanced equipment, specialists deploy robotic drones on the battlefield that can be out.
The Specialist is a great addition to what we're used to from XCOM. With their drone, they can hack any robotic enemy or device from a distance. They can turn off cameras, which is handy when your team is in concealment, or hack turrets to either shut them down or take them over. They are especially handy in missions where you have to hack a device within a certain time limit, since they don't have to clear an entire area first before hacking the device. I think the early game is pretty unforgiving. You fail hacks remarkably often and you miss shots even more. After a miss, the game also makes you wait for like 4 to 5 seconds before giving you your control back, which really only adds to the annoyance. Later in the game, when your team gets stronger, it gets better of course. Still, the early game felt rather unforgiving.
That is not good!
I have to admit though, that because of all the misses, a solid hit feels very, very nice.
Hostiles pacified!
In XCOM 1, you had the extremely fun ability to stun enemies and bring them back to base for interrogation. In XCOM 2, instead you can hack into them directly to get valuable information with the use of the Skulljack, which is a melee weapon you can equip your soldiers with.
We have complete access to the Advent Psionic Network.
The game has a knack for pissing me off. Some shit just doesn't make sense, like enemies somehow hitting you from an impossible angle. But what I hate the most about this game is the stress. Many missions have an inexplicable time limit. Why a time limit? Personally, I love turn-based games because they are relaxing to me.
Menace 1-5, the Advent network is almost entirely locked down. We're running out of time. Get to that terminal.
And it's not just the time limit missions. In your base, all kinds of events keep requiring your immediate attention. If you don't grant them your immediate attention, the campaign time limit, yes, there's an actual timer on the entire campaign, will fast forward.
We'll need to move fast.
Really. In your base, when you use your world map to fast forward the projects you're researching or facilities you're building, you just keep getting slammed left and right by stuff you have to do. And you can't do it all, by the way, which means that no matter how good you are, the enemy will get their advantage over you in one way or another. It's just stressful. It's not what I look for in a turn-based game.
We're running out of time. Firebrand has a limited window to provide extraction.
We'll need to move fast.
The gameplay in your base of operations is similar to XCOM 1. The engineer wing builds your facilities and equipment.
Getting our tech to talk to theirs is harder than you'd think.
Ah, Commander, excellent timing. There's been some progress.
The research lab lets you research alien items and do autopsies on alien corpses. Most of the time, a finished research project unlocks new combat items or campaign missions. It's nothing new, but that's alright. Instead of digging into the ground, you now have to clean up debris from your base. Once that's removed, you can build new facilities. There's a facility that heals your squad faster, and one that can give your soldiers magical abilities, and so on. There's nothing new to this either, and that's alright. XCOM 2 didn't try to reinvent the wheel. It does all the things XCOM 1 does, just some things better and some things worse. There are a few new additions, like the stealth aspect and the hacking, which are definitely refreshing. The game is unforgiving early on, but new weapons and abilities will make your squad's life easier later on. And the sense of getting stronger and more capable makes the game just as addicting as its predecessor. The developers felt that the player had to feel pressure constantly, being a guerrilla force, which I definitely hate about the game. Luckily, the game is easy to mod and to remove the timers completely. My verdict? XCOM 2 is guilty of being annoying and addicting. Do with that what you will. Thanks for watching. This is Vince's verdict. Goodbye.